standing, let's make this confession real loud and real bold. This is my Bible. And today, I declare it to be my final authority. Take your seats and we're going to get ready to give you the final portion of Think Like a Christian Instead. We've been talking the last 4 weeks of Think Like a Christian Instead. Today our subtopic is Think Like a Child of the King. Think like a child of the King. Our opening text, as we have been digging throughout this text, each week we've been opening up with the thought process found in Proverbs 23 and 7. If you will, turn your Bibles to the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse number 7. That's our opening text, because that's our mind text. That's the text in which we're trying to get you to change the way you think. Because once you change the way you think, you change everything about you. These individuals that are sitting on this stage today that have achieved academic success had to change some of their mind thoughts, their processing of thinking, because sometimes it got hard, sometimes it got rough, sometimes it may have looked like the odds may have been against them, but they had to tweak their thinking in order to keep going. Proverbs says it like this in verse number 7, the first phrase: as a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh, so is he. Listen, today I want you to shift your thought process and start thinking like you belong to a royal family. I need you to start thinking like you belong to a royal family, a different family. I don't care what kind of messed up situation you were born in, you were reborn into a royal family. I don't care how many alcoholics, I don't care how many whoremongers, I don't care how many dope heads, I don't care how dysfunctional your house may have been you grew up in. When you gave your life to Jesus Christ, he transferred you into a new home, and I need you to stop thinking like Baby them and Ray them and start thinking like I belong to a royal family. If you can receive that on today, give God a loud shout of praise. I belong to a royal family. I got to change the way I think. Because when I come to the reality in my thought process that I belong to a royal family, then I can understand I also have the benefit package of that family. So you can be broke if you want to, but I'm operating under a different benefit system. When everybody else went in a recession, my daddy went into a promotion. When everybody else was saying what we can't do in the financial realm, my God started writing checks. Benefits of being in a royal family. You also have protection when you're in a royal family. See, when you are in a royal family, the devil just can't come up and mess with you. He got to go through some security first. He got to go through some channels of command before he can even get to you. You just can't walk up to Prince Charles and treat him any old kind of way. Only in America can the president of the United States be assaulted by somebody while the Secret Service is on watch. That won't happen in no other country, and it wouldn't happen in this country if the president didn't look like me. But when I'm in a royal family, I'm protected by the covenant of this family. Try to mess with me if you want to. Before you get to me, you got to go through my angels. The royal family. And I want these people on this stage to understand you are part of a royal family. You're protected. Not only are you protected, but you also have supernatural provisions. Oh, good God Almighty. Supernatural provisions. In other words, when I'm thinking like I belong in a royal family, I cannot operate with broke thoughts. I'm trying to just walk through this real crystal clear. But when I'm thinking like I belong in a royal family, there's no such thing as poverty. There's no such thing as recession nor depression. When I'm operating in the royal family, my mind is already made up. My daddy has all the provision and the resources I need. I just got to tap into what my daddy already has. I wish I had somebody this morning that understand I am a part of the royal family. I shall not be denied. I shall not stop. I shall not quit. My daddy owns everything, so I'm going to just stay plugged in. You have to change the way you think. Now, in order to establish that I'm in the royal family, I must first establish paternity. You know how we are. Mama, baby, daddy, maybe. You know how we operate. We would disown and disconnect. So let me first establish paternity, that we are in the royal family, just in case there are some doubters in the house that the baby don't look like the daddy. We don't have to go to Jerry Springer. We can solve the case right here in the greenhouse. One way of determining paternity is through DNA. DNA don't lie. DNA, you can't maneuver nor manipulate DNA. It tells the truth. You can shout on a mountaintop, that ain't my baby, but the DNA say, yes, it is. God created us in his image. God breathed himself into us. That's why you hear people say, you look like your daddy, or you act like your daddy, because you share the same common DNA as your daddy. You could have a daddy and not spend any time with him. You could have a daddy and he lives all the way across town or another state, but because of your DNA, there will be some similar traits that you and he share, because DNA makes you related. And because there is some God inside of all of us, because when all of us were created, so his DNA is inside of us. That's why I belong to the royal family. I have his DNA. And then if we can't get DNA, you can also do a blood test. Reverend Hutchinson said that his hair used to look like JoJo, but I have no tangible evidence. But the DNA and the blood test says JoJo belongs to him. Well, watch this now. The blood test, Jesus paid his blood so that you and I could be adopted into the royal family. So I passed the blood test because he paid his blood so you and I could be adopted into the royal family. That's how I know I'm a part of the royal family. That's how I can prove I belong through the blood. He shed his blood so I can be adopted by his father. You belong. The blood proves it. Look at John 1 and 12. John 1 and 12. Think like a child of the king. Think like who? Child of the king. King's kids think differently. John chapter 1, look at verse 12 and 13. I'm just walking you through the text. According to the Gospel of John, beginning with number 12, but as many as received him, that means some received him and some rejected him. You make your own choice. But as many as received him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God. Sons here is not just a masculine term, but it's an indication of mankind. So it's sons and daughters. To them who believe, he gave them the power to become the sons and daughters of God. Even to them who believe on his name. Look at verse 13. We are born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. If you receive him, you are now born or reborn into his family. That's good news on today. It does not matter where you start. When you receive him, you become a part of his family. and your whole story begins to change. When we receive him, good things start to happen. When we receive him, we're giving the right to be a part of the royal family. And too many people have allowed their minds to be frustrated and messed up because they came out of a bad family tree. They came out of situations where there was generational poverty, generational this, generational cursing. Everything about their family brought embarrassment and shame unto them. They didn't see anything at the family reunion that gave them hope that tomorrow would be better. Everybody they saw at the family reunion, around the tree, at the picnic table, around the lunch menu, everything they saw was dark, gloomy, and negative. But the good news is, when I look at a dark, gloomy, negative situation, I say, yes, Jesus, and he gives me hope for tomorrow. He changes my whole story. Let me give you some historical texts about adoption. Come here, Shane. This is how adoption originated. The father of the house, when he adopted a child, the father would, get this, the father would have a ceremony in which he would strip the child. No, don't do this. He would strip the child of all his clothing. And the child would stand with nothing but his undergarments on in front of a large crowd. Everyone in the family would show up for the adoption ceremony, and the new child would be stripped down to the undergarment, and the father would take the best robe he had in his closet, the best outfit, the best suit, and he would reclothe the adopted son with his apparel. This was symbolizing that everything you used to wear, everything you used to be before you connected with me is no longer in existence. That's why the father would take everything off of the child and put the child on the new wardrobe, representing not where you come from, but where you're going. Anybody here glad God redressed you? Anybody glad that God stripped you of all that junk, that old mindset, that old behavior? Anybody glad that God gave you a new robe and a new outfit? I don't know about you, but I thank God he stripped me of that old stuff and gave me a brand new joy. So now, when this son is re-robed, he officially becomes the blood son of the father. He becomes the blood son of the father without any human blood being shed. But the covenant is so strong that you now become blood son. They don't go, this is my adopted son, or this is my half son, this is my 3/3 of a son. No, this is my son. Thank you. Anybody glad? God don't call you half children. God don't refer to you as stepchildren. God just says, that's my son, that's my daughter. That's what the Bible calls it, newness of life. That means my old life is gone away. Some of these children on this stage are so happy that their old life is gone away and they have a new life. And when they go to college or when they go to the next phase of life, they're going in with a new mindset. There are some young men on this stage that have probably seen every male in their family go to jail, get in trouble, but their mind has been made up. I don't have to wear that outfit. I don't have to wear that suit. God gave me a new robe, and I won't be a lawbreaker, but I'll be a law enforcer. I wish I had somebody off in here that would give God a real praise that he turned you around, he saved you, he changed you, and you don't end up like Uncle Baby and Ray and them, but you got a future, you got hope, you know tomorrow is the best day of your life. I'm so glad. Let me give you a visual image that will stick. We've all seen the commercials, the children in third world nations. Something I really don't understand, though, why whenever I see poverty at that level, they're always dark-skinned like me. I've yet to see a European commercial with starving children, but that's another subject for another day. That's another fight I'm fighting on another front.